it has been said that Bhagavad Gita is a treatise on Sankhya Yoga. What is Sankhya Yoga? Yoga by itself, in itself, through itself, is a process of correcting the breath from its horizontal nature to go to the vertical skyward oneness. So that also is there in this word called yoga. But what is being narrated in Bhagavad Gita is Sankhya Yoga. It's not mere breathing exercise. Having got acquainted with the physical, mental and spiritual discipline through the enlightenment of this world, Jiva and Ishvara, then sit as a yogi to unite them into one undivided whole. That is Sankhya Yoga. Not only that, what is Sankhya? Sankhya is a derivative of Sankhya. What is the root meaning of Sankhya? Khya means that which is with a name and form. That which is with a name and form is called Khya. Sankhya means not only the name and form of the individual, it also relates itself to the entire names and forms of this universe. That means this Khya is an attempt through knowing the oneness of Jagat and Jiva. When these two stages are attained, then yoga must be attempted. What remains to be attained by the Jiva is Ishvara. Ishvara is the undivided, nameless oneness which is the fundamental cause as Brahma to create into many names and manyness. Sankhya means from manyness to oneness, and in the process of Sankhya, what happened is a conflict. That is, Sankhya, from where did it come? It came from Nrisimha. That which is created as Sankhya or as the world of name and form came out of the division of the oneness into many. Nru means for the sake of creation, Simha means himsa, conflicting itself, cutting itself into many. This Nrisimha is called Maya. Why it is called Maya? Because any part has a birth. For some time it continues to exist. After some time again it must die and merge into that oneness. So that which is created out of Maya and Nrisimha is also Sankhya. Conflict. Sankhya also means out of the conflict of the unified oneness, the manyness of the world is created. So to know this nature, the form, the activity of that which we call as Maya is Sankhya. Sankhya doesn't mean anything. In another way, Maya has all the limitations to reach back the oneness. Because the jiva is tied with astapashas, 8 types of bondages. And those bondages were created by the world, which is other than this individual form. But what is the relationship between this individual and the world is mamakaha. That which you identify as yourself in the outside world becomes your bondage. And that is the only relationship you have with the Jagat. Your entire world exists only in the form of mamakaha, the relationships we establish as friend, as son, as wife, as anything. So, first Sankhya starts from Jiva, that is from Vedanta. Here, there are 2 aspects of the mind. One that goes outside for all activity, external activity of the mind, to account its livelihood, to earn something for his life. That is one. There are also so many limitations we come across, so many attractions, so many allurements, and they make us think that except this, nothing else remains to be achieved. That is Maya. Internally, the birthplace of all this mamaka, I-ness, itness or minus, is our inner mind. Inner mind has 2 aspects. At times, it thinks of God, it thinks of fundamental truths, and most of the time, it is pulled to cooperate with the external activity or Kriya Shakti. In us, there is one, Jiva has 2 aspects. One aspect is Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti is the relationship of the individual in attaining happiness to his own form. That is Kriya Shakti. The Jiva has another Shakti, that is Jnana Shakti. That means he also is mindful of the origins of the cosmos, and at times he prefers to go that way, to vertically. This jnana gives you 2 openings. One is compulsively cooperating with your physical action or Kriya Shakti. Rarely does it cooperate to invent the methods of getting into the original moorings, namely into Ishvara. So, the conflict between Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti is also called Sankhya. Sankhya means conflict, another meaning. Then, having established enlightened outlook through your inner faculties of the mind, you are slowly trying to withdraw from the Kriya Shakti aspect of the Jiva or the external activities connected with the form, with the mind and the world. So this Jnana Shakti is juxtaposed to your Kriya Shakti. This Kriya Shakti accrues you only material welfare. This Jnana Shakti gives you the spiritual welfare. That is the difference. Both are existing in our mind, that is Jiva. Unless you resolve and take a particular decisive side, you can't go to Ishvara. You have to sacrifice first the priority of material glory. That which is necessary for your sustenance, for your existence, is more than enough. To that extent, functioning in Maya is perfectly alright. Because you have to preserve the Sharira or the form. To that extent, your external activity of a Jnani are permitted. Then, when you lessen and withdraw from the external activity, your inner activity or inner strength of your mind will be more. Then the only priority or alternative for this inner mind or Jnana Shakti or enlightening principle of the mind is to think about the higher one, transcendental one. So, having known the philosophy of oneness and the necessity to merge ultimately into the Ishvara, it is not achieved very easily. You have to fight with every aspect of Maya. That means every aspect, Mayic aspect of your mind. The mind contains both the aspects, divine aspect and Mayic aspect. Unless these two are there, the creation cannot continue. So it is God's will. So, Sankhya means that which is created out of Nrsimha or Maya, namely the world of name and form. So, Sankhya means the conflict that occurs during one's own lifetime when he wants to take up divine path, the conflict that arises with the external influences as bondages, and how to withdraw from them and to merge these outer forces of manifestative nature into unmanifest nature. So, this Sankhya means the mental faculties which are unmanifest and manifest. If manifest forces are added to unmanifest and merged there, it is called Divya Patha. If even those inner aspects also are linked and expended to achieve material welfare, it is called Jiva Patha. Daiva Patha and Jiva Patha, the path of the existence and materialistic existence, is one aspect of the mind. The path of the divine glory is another part of it. Both are coexisting in our mind. But how to make this mind unique and unitive is Sankhya. You have to resolve the conflict, then only you can go. Or you have to succumb to Maya, then you are like any ordinary human being. How to merge the Mayic aspect and priorities of the mind linked with the material welfare into spiritual welfare is Sankhya. So the entire Bhagavad Gita is meant to find a way, impart enough teaching and skill to the individual. So world of name and form means Jagat and Jiva. Yoga means merging the separate entity of these two aspects of mind into a nameless oneness. What remains then is only Ishvara to be achieved by the mind. But the mind cannot achieve Ishvara oneness unless it merges into the soul, which is the only way of meeting. The soul can merge into Ishvara. The mind, having withdrawn all its internal and external nature of the activity, shall have to merge. When that mind merges with this Atma, what you call, these are the four stages of Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti and Turiya. Sankhya Yoga talks about various aspects of yoga and how to merge one into the other. Unless the Jagrata merges into Swapna, the Swapna cannot be a reality. Unless these two merge in the Sushupti, losing their separate entity, the Sushupti cannot take place. Unless these three merge into the Turiya or the Atma Sakshatkara cannot be possible. So Sankhya Yoga means Atma Sakshatkara to the individual, Ishvara Aikya to the Atma. So to Jiva also it is freedom, to Atma also it is freedom. That is called Sankhya Yoga. And this process is called Advaita or Vedanta. To sharpen the mind, to take up the Akashic path is Advaita. So Bhagavad Gita bestows enough Vidya or enlightenment to achieve total enlightenment as Advaita or Atma Paramatma Aikya. That is the premise of Sankhya Yoga as Bhagavad Gita. That's why it is called Yoga Shastra, Sankhya Yoga Shastra. So Bhagavad Gita is neither a treatise on yoga, nor a treatise on Advaita, nor a treatise on Laya. But it contains all. It doesn't spell out that I specifically lay stress on this aspect only. That's why it is called the compendium of all Upanishads and Vedas. The essence of everything that you ought to know in order to beget the ultimate emergence, that is Yoga Shastra, Sankhya is occurring. Now we will come to the 51st point in the first sloka of Bhagavad Gita. There is a word called Samavetaha, means collecting the inner spirit. If you apply the story to yourself, Samavetaha means you have to collect all your inner spirits as one, either to achieve anything in the outside or anything. To achieve anything in the outside or in the. That means either in the name of Jiva